In this video, we're going to have a look at how to sketch a linear graph using the intercepts method. When we use the intercepts method, there are 3 steps to be able to sketch our linear graph. The first step is to calculate the x-intercept. Now the x-intercept is going to be the value of x when y is equal to 0. The second step is going to be to identify the y-intercept. Now this can be done in 2 ways. The first one can be if we know the rule and it's in the format y equals mx plus c, we can determine our value for c. The second way of determining the y-intercept is when x is equal to 0, what does y equal to? Now once we have our x and our y-intercept, our third step is going to be to sketch the graph. And that is done by marking the x and the y-intercepts onto our graph and joining them with a straight line. So let's have a look at an example. In this example, we want to sketch the linear line using the intercept method for the rule y equals 3x minus 6. Now the first step is going to be to determine the x-intercept. Now the x-intercept is going to be our value for x when y is equal to 0. So to determine that value, we write our rule and then substitute y is equal to 0 into that rule. So y equals 3x minus 6. Substituting 0 for y, 0 equals 3x minus 6. So now I need to rearrange my equation so I can determine the value for x. Now the first step in rearranging the equation is to get rid of minus 6 from the right hand side, and I do this by doing the opposite of subtracting 6, which is adding 6. So I add 6 onto this side, add 6 onto this side. So my equation then becomes 6 is equal to 3x. Now my next step in getting x alone is to divide 3x by 3. What I do to the right hand side, I've also got to do to the left hand side. So 6 divided by 3 is equal to 2. 3x divided by 3 is equal to x. So my x value, my x-intercept, is equal to 2. Now the second step is to determine the y-intercept. And because I know the rule in the form of y equals mx plus c, I can look at that and determine that my y-intercept is going to be negative 6. Don't forget, when we are looking at the rule, we need to look at the sign in front of the y-intercept to determine if it's going to be positive or negative. Now that I have my x-intercept and my y-intercept, I can go ahead and draw my graph. Now to draw the graph, I need to mark my 2 intercepts. So my x-intercept of 2, so I'm going to go along to my x-axis and put a mark where it intercepts at 2. And for my y, put a mark at negative 6. Now that I have my 2 intercepts marked, my final step is going to be to join them with a straight line. And I need to label that line with the rule provided in the question. So y equals 3x minus 6. And that is how I can draw a linear line on a Cartesian plane using the intercepts method.